Hello, my name is Daniel Williams and this is a making of my final year project. For my project, I am looking at the creation of a music video combining both live action and animation within student resources. The project is split into three main sections. These are filming, animation and compositing. The basic workflow of the project follows 7 main stages. Firstly, the original idea and concept was created. I wanted a project that would keep me passionate and focused, so I have chosen to base the project around areas that interest me, such as music, filming, character design, animation, post-production, and also with the overall aspect of comedy. The next stage was planning, which included storyboarding and creating documents such as a shot list. Character design then followed, which started with sketching and then moved on to creating the models in Maya. The concept and main storyline was to have small animated characters who try and interrupt a studio recording of a band. However, there was a problem with the shape of the original design, as it was too restrictive for some of the desired movements due to its awkward limb placement. The solution was to develop a new set of characters and give them more individual characteristics, as well as a more human-like body shape. The next stage in the workflow was rigging. As the project was to be completed within the time restrictions of a student, one of the ways in which to save time was to use automated processes within the workflow. One of these processes was automated rigging through using the online rigging software Mixamo. By assigning the joints to the models and copying an automated Python script into Maya, I was able to produce a fully working rig for all my models. Another part of the automated rigging was done by using Autodesk's Softimage face robot. This software allows the model's head to be firstly rigged and then using the lip sync tool, create a set of visemes which can be later used to create lip synced footage through using an audio WAV file. The next stage in the project was to film the footage within one of the university's recording studios. The camera I used for the filming was the Sony Alpha 560 DSLR with a range of lenses including prime and zoom lenses. One of the filming techniques I used was tracking, in which I used a skateboard to create a smooth tracking motion across the ground. The next stage was tracking using softwares Axe and After Effects. Both work in different ways and each are more effective for certain scenes. Axe allows you to copy the camera information into the 3D software, which will produce a render with the correct perspective information. This makes it more useful with shots that have large change in depth. Axe also has a feature which allows certain tracking points to be superior to others, which allows movement within shots without affecting the outcome. After Effects works differently as it tracks the camera information at the compositing stage and then applies that information to the already rendered images. This is probably the quickest and easiest form of tracking, but often will not give you quite as satisfying results as the Axe method. One of the most time-consuming stages of production was the animation stage. To create realistic animations, real-life footage was recorded of some of the key motions and then recreated within the 3D software. One of the ways in which I was able to save time in the animation stage was to use pre-animated motions using the auto-rigging website Mixamo. Part of making the animation fit the scene correctly was by setting up the correct lights and rendering settings to match the footage. To do this, I firstly reviewed the footage to see such things as the direction of shadows to determine positioning and strength of lights. With this information, I then attempted to recreate the same lighting within the 3D software. Finally, the last stage of the project was compositing. This entailed bringing together the live action footage and the rendered animations using Adobe After Effects. This stage was vital, as the two pieces of footage had to fit together so that the final outcome would be believable to the viewer's eye. Techniques such as drop shadows were used to match the shadows of the live action footage. This was done by duplicating the rendered character layer and then applying the effects exposure, corner pin and matte choker, and then altering the opacity for the desired realistic effect. Another technique I used was to add an ambient occlusion layer to the composite. This enhanced realism by adding detailed shadows and changes in tone on the character and flooring. Here you can see by adding a floor panel in Maya to match the live action footage, I was able to recreate realistic shadows on the ambient occlusion layer, which could then be added to the final composite by using a multiply layer in After Effects. However, to create the ambient occlusion layer takes a lot of rendering time and power, so it was not possible to use this technique on most of the scenes due to the time restrictions of the project. Another way in which the rendered character layer was adjusted to match the background was to use camera blurring to match the change in focus of the live action footage. This was simply done by adding a fast blur to the character layers and adjusting the magnitude where appropriate. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.